questions have been answered. Uh, uh, yes, to answer your question about CPCB, that how the stretch of the polluted Yamuna is increased from 500 to 600 kilometers is the latest CPCB report. The extent is not from last 2 years, but it's over the last decade or so. Which shows, and why it is happening, because what it shows is that our whole sewage treatment, river action plans are all failures. That's basically on Yamuna action plan over the last uh, nearly 2 decades. When the first phase started, we have spent more than 1,000 crores, maybe more. Exact figure I don't have now, but and after that it is increased. So, and this is all along Yamuna, not just Delhi. So, but Delhi is the biggest culprit for that. So that's one reason. I think on rainwater harvesting, I agree with Manu. In addition, what I would like to say is that what we really need is an action plan, a time-bound action plan to ensure that every government building, every institutional building, every commercial building, every mall, multiplex, hotel, every station, metro station and other railway stations, every park, Delhi has very large number of them, all of them, and even road spaces are prime spaces which can harvest water and ensure recharge of water. Uh, some of them can harvest and reuse the water, some of them can recharge the water. But there is a large space like this available, and these are the institutions, these are the bodies which have the technical, human, and financial resources to do it in a time-bound manner. So we need to give just 2 years to all of this kind of, and all embassies, all colleges, all schools. Now all of this if they do that, I think more than 50% of the potential rainwater harvesting in Delhi would have been already achieved. But we are, instead of going for that, we are just going for lip service, that we will have advertisements and we will have some incentives for households and so on. Why can't we go for this kind of action plan? So this is, I think, what is required. This kind of action plan is required. Uh, I agree with what you say, that our DJB basing is helping the politicians to look for a privatization kind of thing. But I think they will pay a very costly price for that, political price. Whoever people are, because people are seeing that, and people have opposed it very strongly in the past. Now they are doing this backdoor. I think the party which is pushing the privatization is going to pay very costly price. This is the, nowhere has the water privatization succeeded, in India or elsewhere. Even the Makkah of capitalism, US, the city like Atlanta, which went for privatization, has gone for remunicipalization. In France, there is a whole movement for municipalization. In Italy, there was a whole referendum which whole nation went against water privatization. So you go everywhere in the West, it's not succeeding, it's not going to succeed here, and they'll pay the political cost. Yeah, broadly I wanted to say.
Do you have any other questions? I'll just, because
if you don't mind. Sure, you want to go first? Okay.
I just wanted to add to what Professor Himanshu said. Yeah, beyond the management dimension, I think we need to explore the governance dimension of water in the sense of inequity of water supply. Not even, I'm not even thinking of going beyond the MC, the municipal corporation area, or considering NCR. Even if we look at the municipal corporation of Delhi, and as you rightly pointed out, that there are sections of the society which gets not more than 35 LPCD, and then there are certain sections which get more than 250 LPCD. And then the question of whole management may bring down the unaccounted for water on RW to say, for instance, 15%. But the whole question of how this improvement will affect the the current situation of 35 versus 250. That's the question I wanted to bring up, and how participation can actually help in the governance of water supply. That is one thing.
That's, sorry. Thank you. I'm Rajesh Malhotra. I mean, more or less, I think we've covered the issue. I just want to say, I mean, had it not been, I mean, without trying to draw any comparison, had it not been for the last speaker, I would have also gone back confused more than convinced from here. at the domestic level, I come from a place called Vasant Kunj. Another friend of mine just spoke from the place. वहाँ लगता है हालत कुछ और है और यहाँ I mean it's like as the prime minister saying okay don't worry about all the corruption that's going on right under my nose but सब कुछ ठीक चल रहा है. Sir, I mean expecting management from the most bogus who come to where it matters, the one who are most mismanaged. 20 साल से आप बता रहे हैं कि I mean status quo and not for nothing do we see these alarming and these scary photographs in paper now and then. So mismanagement is there, but who are we expecting this from? Let me tell you from Vasant Kunj, I would agree the supply would have improved now for the last couple of months, but there's this feeling of it drying up or it going haywire any day. And when that happens, which has happened quite often, we fall back upon a tube well or a reservoir that we have within the colony and wherein an opening and drawing out and load goes on. Also, from the party that is just spoke of, it was trying to settle in the same place where there's water scarcity, refugees who had come down from Myanmar and they were trying to, I mean, this is the kind of politics that do. Illegal immigration, illegal migration, and illegal settlement is not even talked of when you talk of the population being stabilized in the coming years. I think it's a very scary scenario, and we have been known for our management or our crisis management post the crisis happens and the calamity sets in. I would frankly want to ask you, the three of you, जो आपने सही कहा culprit है, does it have it in it, given the politics that it's merged into, submerged into, in fact, would we actually rise to the occasion, or would we let things go out of hand and then something drastic would happen? Thank you.
The undergraduate students of Miranda House College, we are actually working on a project with Yamuna River. What I wanted to ask is, we have talked about almost all the issues, but we haven't really covered the industrial pollution that is adding on to the metal contamination in the water. And the STPs can't really treat it properly. So that is reducing the freshwater usage by us. And additional to that, are we having some negative incentives for those industries and some positive incentives for the green entrepreneurs that are actually not adding to it? That's my question. Thank you, sir.
I told you already that presently the things are being mismanaged. But you would definitely agree that especially over the last couple of years, things are improving a little bit, and the water supply to people who are having a piped connection, they are getting some water which earlier was not available at all. As far as the institutions which Mr. Himanshu has mentioned, most of them have already put in some sort of water recharge system. How effective it is or how efficiently it is working, that's a different point. But even in our government buildings all along this Lutyens area, this has been done compulsorily. And even in the other buildings, multi-story buildings, it has been done. This retrofitting of rainwater harvesting system has been done. So in these private colonies or maybe the houses, and what Mr. Manu mentioned, that there is no area left. The water recharge is not only through open area. It is a matter of collecting all the water which is falling on your roof, and which is presently being let out into the stormwater drains, and then it goes into the nala, and from there it flows back into the river. It is a matter of collecting that water, filtering it properly, and putting it into the ground. It just needs an underground water tank of some size and a borewell of 10 to 20 feet. So that is also being implemented in many places. Lot of commercial institutions, these hotels and all these which Mr. Himanshu has been talking, most of them are realizing their social responsibility and are doing definitely. In the Ministry of Water Resources, we have been pushing through our organization, the Central Groundwater Board, and a body with some legal backing, the Central Groundwater Authority, that these sort of steps are being taken by most of these commercial institutions. But as you know, in India, everything works by default, and people like to break the law more than to implement it. This industrial pollution that you are talking about, at least in Delhi, all the these industrial areas which were set up in the 1970s, Okla, Narayana and all that, they have all made it compulsory, if not individual STPs, but at least a collective STP for the entire industrial area. That is compulsory. But then again, how much of it is working efficiently and how much it is not, that is a different point. But one thing about this Renuka Dam, I don't want Mr. Himanshu to feel very happy that the NGOs have scored a point. I was just mentioning that Delhi is drawing about as much water as it is entitled to. Not exactly as much. Of course, Renuka will improve the things. But then after the Renuka Dam is constructed, and as we know, Delhi likes to get its way in everything, it will definitely take the more water from there. Earlier, when they started this planning of this Renuka Dam, Delhi thought that, oh, if we are funding the project and we are paying the money, and the power generation we'll give to Himachal Pradesh because it is in their area, and all the water we will take. Under that impression, they had started this project, taken it up. But after the other states realized what is happening, it has been stalled now for basically for this reason, and plus some of the clearances issues that they are saying Delhi can't take all the water which is going to come from there. But eventually, the 3 projects that are going to come up for regulating the discharge in the river, after all 3 projects are there, definitely Delhi will get some more water which will be available to it as its share. And what benefit these projects give is that in the monsoons you see the river flowing full and even flooding the areas around. That will not happen. And during in the lean season, in the summers also, there will be regulated flow in the river. The dams are being built as storage projects so that they'll collect water which falls during the rainfall, and during the other months it will be released gradually so that there's not a mismatch of water flow during the monsoon and during the summer season. Of course, it will not regulate exactly all the water, but definitely there will be improvement. During the summer, there will be definitely more water in the river, and the water which is going downstream and not being utilized by these states here, and some of it even going straight down to the Bay of Bengal, that will not happen once all these 3 projects come up. So we should not be under the impression by just wanting to protect our environment and not looking into the development of our requirement that it's going to happen. There is always a clash between protecting the environment and meeting the requirements of our system. This is happening already in the power scenario. We are not allowing projects to come up on one pretext or the other. And there was an article in the newspaper some time back giving a list of about 15, 16 projects, out of which majority, 90% were held up because of environmental clearance. So if we don't allow the infrastructure projects to come up, then we have to live with this type of power shortages and even maybe power because it is required for all other utilities, even water shortages and other items. Thank you.